Alrighty, what's good, everybody? Gonna do a quick one today, going over the most recent Act 2 developer live stream and things that I think are interesting or care about. I have a note in front of me with a couple of things, and I wanted to just kind of give my take on them. Background footage is going to be footage of the stream. I might edit it into something, or I won't. Yay! So first things first, seeing DMG on the stream is sick. I love that man. He's an actual person existing in the community and acknowledging it on stream, and the dev team behind the scenes as well, giving them props. That shit rocks. I love DMG. I think he is a fantastic member of Bungie, of Destiny, of the community. He is a great, great individual, and I could not be happier to see him on more things. Alright, the actual meat of it. The big thing that they showed off was Contest of Elders, or Tomb of Elders, or something along those lines. It's the new seasonal activity. We all kind of expected it was going to be something of Prison of Elders-ish related, and this seems to be a reprisal, kinda, of Prison of Elders. So, it was described explicitly as roguelite by the one of the devs on the couch there, and I think that is very, very cool. I'm reminded of the coil in a couple of different ways. Side note, the active activity modifier being an explicit UI element on screen is quite nice. Give me more of that, please. That make things much clearer to people that don't want to pay attention to what's going on when they first load into an activity, right? There seems to be a decent amount of enemy variety. There's Lightbearer Hive and Spider Tanks at least, and that's really fucking cool. We got Psylocks coming back. This shit is, oh man, gonna be a lot of different things to kill here, and as with most things that are like survival-based or roguelite, having a high amount of enemy variety is a way to make each encounter feel that much different, right? Like, I've talked about it before with the Onslaught thing, I've talked about it when I talked about Gears, but enemy mesh variety is very, very important, and this seems to have quite a few enemies that we don't see as often in things, so I'm very excited for that. Multiple races, not just two. Very, very cool. Seems to be a progressing challenge in the same way that the coil was, I think, and if you start to struggle and can't hang at the difficulty that you progress to, the game will lower in challenge, maybe short, or maybe giving you more time, or lowering the amount of yellow health bar enemies that spawn. There's a couple of different things it might do for you, but it will pay attention to how you're doing. And if you're doing really, really well, the warden might let you skip certain encounters, that way you can just get to the loot section and then just keep going and going as fast as possible, so that's really, really cool. There are multiple new arenas, all using different architecture from across Seoul. There's one that's got the Savathun's Lightbearer Hive, like Lucid Hive, Throne World architecture, that's really cool. There's the traditional Prison of Elders looking stuff, there's the Scorn stuff, there's Egregore spores all over the place, there's some Cabal things here and there. Very, very cool. I love that a lot. Architecture variety is quite nice. Bosses seem to have mechanics and aren't just health bars. Like the one they showed off is the two they showed off actually. One of them, there's a Thresher that you have to destroy with a throwable before it drops the boss out. Then you can fight it. And then when Psylocke shows up, you have to basically play Rift, but with Pyramid Tech to be able to damage him as well, so that's really, really cool. There's also more extra objectives, like there's some critical objectives, like the one they show off here is poison gas on the floor. You have to deal with that or it's going to kill everybody, or you have, you know, things that aren't just, kill the guys here, destroy the health bars, like things that require you to think a little bit about how you're going to use your abilities or positioning or whatever while you're also doing combat. Very, very cool. Big fan of that. There's a couple of new weapons coming. The three that they talked about is the new Arc Precision SMG, there's a Void Precision Shotgun, and there's the returning Grid Skipper, which is very cool. I'm a big fan of Grid Skipper, and I think I'm going to check that one out. There's a new row of artifact mods. They're all seemingly focused around close quarters combat. They didn't seem that exciting to me, and apparently Reddit is not happy with how lame they are, but I don't really care. The stuff we've got is fine. The tonics are really cool, so it's fine. The only one that seems like it might be, maybe not game-changing, but like really important to buildcraft is Arc Compounding, which increases arc weapon damage to blinded targets. I don't really care. I'm not going to give too much of a shit, so it's cool, I guess. The big sandbox change they talked about is that roaming supers in PvE are going to have their charge rate in active combat like doubled or tripled to make them more of a tool to use constantly as opposed to just saving your super for the end. I don't think it'll matter, though, because we are extremely powerful in the neutral, that having a super dedicated to clearing out ads or clearing out a horde of enemies just seems to not matter when you can just throw one grenade and you'll get that effect, or you'll be transcendent and you'll basically have a mini super. roaming supers are in such a weak spot, not because they themselves are weak, but because we are so strong in the neutral, so I just don't think that it's going to matter all that much. But it's cool, I guess, if you know, if they want to bring them into relevance in some capacity. I mean, sure, maybe there's going to be something where there's like an extended damage phase against a boss that has just a shitload of health, and because you're in combat for longer periods of time, you'll get your roaming super, you're able to do more extended periods of damage. I'm literally just making shit up right now because there's no way that's going to happen, because that would be dumb and bad and lame. But, I mean, who knows? I've always said that creating encounters to utilize all of our tools is a better way to buff things than to actually buff them, so who knows. There's a Street Fighter crossover. It's happening. Cool! I personally won't be spending money on it because I shouldn't, but do you? The fucking Dawning Armor? Hello? A fucking space dragon. What the fuck? Yes, please. Give me fucking wings. And the last thing they showed off was that there's an exotic shotgun coming in Act 3. They teased it. It's craftable, and it's got shattering, ricocheting slug projectiles. Also gives you true sight, but it's coming in Act 3 in a mission. And they're not going to have an Act 3 developer stream because they go dark mode at the end of the year, like always. Bungie does. So, yeah, that's cool, I guess. I don't know, not a whole lot going on here, but I am excited to see how Contest of Elders works, and I'm interested to mess with the new, 3 new weapons they added, mainly the SMG and Grid Skipper, yeah. Hey, so guess what? There's also a fucking TWID. I get to put this on the end of the video and make it longer. Hell yeah. So it's a lot of PvP stuff, mainly, that I really care about. This is really funny. So they talk about some outliers in the primary meta for the Crucible, right? We got Rosie, Elsie's Rifle, Graviton, and Bygones are really, really fucking high. Bygones being egregiously out of hand. They say that, egregiously out of band. Thanks almost entirely to High Ground. Dude, High Ground on Bygones has been a fucking nightmare to fight into, because it just requires the smallest bit of height differential. So I'm glad that they're addressing it. They're also... I'm gonna read this one verbatim. While the meta has moved away from closer range engagements, we believe the consolidation around these specific weapons is due in large part to a combination of two things. The difficulty of engaging in the medium to close range combat windows, with the current level of ability uptime stemming largely from our prismatic subclasses. So guys, believe it or not, having all of the abilities that prismatic allows for, and having the constant uptime that feeds into itself, plus being transcendent, might be, I don't know, a little fucking strong. Just a little bit. I don't know, man. Overuse of abilities might be a problem. We should tone abilities down. Alright, we toned abilities down. Let's introduce Prismatic. Are you fucking kidding me? Of course that's happening. Of course that's fucking happening, dude. So, overall, they are giving Prismatic subclasses a blanket 15% additional cooldown penalty inside of the Crucible. Good. Fucking good. I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. Every fucking hunter running Threaded Spectre at all times, and Smoke Bomb at all times, and Storm's Edge at all times, and Swarm Grenade at all times is so fucking annoying, and I'm sick of it. Remember when subclasses had trade-offs? Prismatic has removed a lot of them, because this just covers a lot of the bases. Small fucking wonder. Small wonder. Hey guys, guess what? This is me, saying I told you so, all the way back in this video. I wonder who was correct then. Also, nerfing Storm's Edge in general, which is fucking fantastic. That super does too much. That super, it's too much. It has too much DR, it can fucking hit you through walls, it is super mobile, it does too much. So they're lowering its damage resist, which is really nice, on cast and during the spin. It's also reducing its range and making it a lot longer to cool down, so good. Knucklehead Radar, which I use a lot, is getting its requirement changed from just looking at a target to actually having to damage the target, and I think that's really good. It was kind of insane how much free information you got without having to fight. So this is going to be nice. I think I'm still going to use it because it's a very, very good exotic helmet, and the radar help and the extra, the tracking is very, very good. I think this is a reasonable nerf, and will not stop me from using the helmet, so good. Good. They're increasing 120 hand cannons damage by 3%, so now it will 2 crit 1 body at all resiliences, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but sure, that's fine. As a result of that buff, they are reducing Igneous Hammer's base stability, handling, and aim assist by 3. I don't know if it's going to be that important in the long term, but I expect to see a lot more 120s again. It's actually really funny. The next one they talk about is Better Devils, and how it's got really poor stats, which is something that I mentioned in my Kept Confidence video, how it's probably the worst 140 in the game as a stat stick. So they're giving the stability, handling, and aim assist from Igneous to Better Devils. I don't know the exact numbers of where it's going to compare on that list I gave, but that's good. It needed something. High Ground is now going from 3 stacks to 1 of the primary weapons. Special weapons will give maximum stacks, so that's, you know, cool. You have to use your ammo to get that much damage boost. They're addressing lobby balancing. I am not a matchmaking man. I can't really talk about this too crazy much, but it seems like it's been working in sixes, and in trials has not been working, I think. If you want to read the exact things that they talk about, I will. I'm going to link the TWID down below, so if you want to check it out, I highly recommend it. You'll probably be able to decipher it better than I could. It looks like that's it. I'm scrolling through right now, and I'm not seeing much else. Alright, well, with that, that's going to be it for me today. If you're excited about any of the changes I just talked about or have any opinions about anything that I have just said, feel free to comment down below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.